never ended until the protest ended. So from Berger to CBS, we saw an increase in and an intensity, a very ferocious intensity in the mobilization and the unleashing of violence by thugs, on peaceful protesters. So one narrative that we later had was used and seemed to have really worked for them was that this is an ethnic war and a religious war. So it is a war between the North and the South, and a war between Muslims and Christians. So that was the message that they took to the grassroots, and that the end goal is to fight Baba and chase Baba out because Baba is Muslim and Baba is a Northerner. So many of these guys believe that the Endsars agitation, is an agitation against the Buhari regime, which would be rightfully so, really, if we are saying that we do not want the regime to remain. But at that point, it wasn't about Buhari, it was about the police. And so that created a friction that never should have happened. So in moving forward, many of our people believe that it will only be proper. This is not that one particular ethnic group or one particular group of people have the monopoly of violence. It is about presenting a united front, bringing together as many people as possible, to fight this battle. So many people here believe that sensitization is key. And to the best of my knowledge, for the past 4 days, people have been going out on the streets. They've been going to parks. They've been to Gwagwalada. They've been to Hapo. They've been to Kwali and I think one other place I can't remember now. I'm aware that they are in Guaripa today. So basically, the message is simple. People are going with different banners and they're going with placards and flyers to sensitize those people. They are even going with food so that people can see that their intentions are pure. So I believe that that is one. However, beyond that, because sensitization is a forever project, it is not something that can be done, say, okay, we have done enough sensitization, now let us go on the street and protest. However, we need to re-strategize on how, the next series of protests will happen. So are we going to start looking at maybe a weekend protest? Are we going to be looking at a 3 times in a week protest? Are we going to be looking at a 2 times in a week protest? That will help us mobilize sufficiently and ensure that the numbers will be overwhelming enough for any talk, that might have been hired or pushed to come and attack peaceful protesters. Because when the numbers are great, and one of the things that we said after the attack on peaceful protesters at CBN was that this idea of scattered protest must end. Some people are protesting in Gwagwalada today. Some people are at the same time. Some people are at Unity Fountain. At the same time, some people are at Kubwa. At the same time, some people are at City Gate. It is not going to work. We need to have to present, one big, massive force. Let everybody come together and protest together. So beyond that, really, I believe that this forum is for sharing of ideas, for rubbing minds. I believe that there are
thank you, Ralph. I don't know who is the person who is sharing his page. I don't know how to stop that. Please stop sharing your desktop. It's distorting our system here. Ralph, I have Femi Falano, SAN. I'd invited him to come give us a quick talk about the Lagos casualties, what is being done to unravel what happened in Lagos, and I'm going to mute him. Baba, are you there, sir? Hello.
Don't mute me, I'm here.
Yes, sir. We have unmuted you, sir. You're welcome, and thank you for agreeing to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Baba himself, who has been working non-stop with all of us to get prisoners released, setting up the legal team that you have been hearing about, even though he doesn't want to be credited for it. I don't know how many people we freed in Ogun, in Delta, working with him. And he's also working with the feminist.co But right now, he's been working hard to unravel what happened to our people at Lekki Tollgate. So I invited Baba here today to give us a talk overall about what is happening and what he thinks we should do to move this forward. You're welcome, sir. Good afternoon.
Well, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that many of you might have heard or later hear that the Court of Appeal this morning struck out the appeal filed by Mr. Sowore and Bakare concerning the stringent conditions attached to their bail. It was a very technical victory as such. Mr. Bakare is in Osogbo, and on that basis, my colleagues in Abuja felt that Sowore alone could sign the notice of appeal for both of them. The matter was argued. The state did not object to that procedure. But after the matter had been argued, the Court of Appeal just raised that, And today, the court said, well, since both of them did not sign, in other words, since Bakare did not leave Osogbo to come to Abuja to sign the notice of appeal, therefore the appeal is not proper. So you have to come back. So that's by the way. Can assure you there's no problem about that. And I want to assure Mr. Sowore and Mr. Bakare that, it's a technical knockout, but we'll come back in a bigger way. Having said that, let me say that I won't be able to go into details of the killings in Lagos. Number one, we're involved in the investigation. We're going to unravel the entire mystery surrounding the attack in Lagos. But let me say this, and I want to thank Mr. Sowore's Sowore reporters, for standing on the side of justice. They say, we've chased them to the wall. And that is why the army authorities, within a space of 48 hours, have had to tell about 2 conflicting stories. But what is important now is that the army that had initially denied ever getting to Lekki or being involved had now agreed that indeed they were there, but that were invited by the governor. Assuming without conceding that the troops were invited by the governor, number one, there was no insurrection or mayhem in Lekki to warrant any intervention, even by scouts, Boy Scouts, or Boys Brigade. Lekki protest was peaceful. Alausa protest was peaceful. And if some of you had seen the photograph taken with the protesters and the soldiers, this photograph the soldiers took with the protesters in Alausa earlier in the day, you will see that these are civilized protesters or non-protesters, peaceful protesters who have no basis to antagonize the police or the members of the armed forces. But by the time these guys went to Lekki, and from what they have now agreed, we were there. But they said they didn't shoot at anybody. We want to find out, were you there to demonstrate along with the protesters? Were you there to cheer them up, to clap for them? But we'll get there, I can assure you. Because the human blood is so important. It's so important that you can't get away with killing people. In this case, and that is what I've told everybody, nobody should believe the military because it has a history of lies and fraud and deception. Just in 2015, December 2015, the same chief of army staff, General Buratai, claimed that there was a traffic jam in Zaria. Anyway, the big man wanted to move. And because of that traffic hiccup, he got soldiers from the 1st Division in Kaduna to mow down hundreds of worshippers, Shiites. And what was the explanation? Oh, that the Shiites wanted to assassinate the chief of army staff. And so his boys had to save him. And that in the process, these Shiites who had guns wanted to kill them. So they repelled them. And about 6 or 7 people died, lost their lives. But in a commission of inquiry set up by the government, the Kaduna State government, were told that indeed 347 Nigerians were killed by the military. No autopsy, no postmortem, nothing whatsoever. Their bodies were taken away. Not that. Their bodies were taken away in the dead of the night and given a mass burial. And people will ask you, yes, if anybody lost his child in Lekki, why have they come up? Who has come up in the case of Zaria? Because you must understand the environment under which we operate. By the way, some of those who were injured in Lekki had to forcefully discharge themselves because they were told in the hospital that they were going to be held vicariously liable for the riots in town. And so everybody had to move. But as of today, the government of Lagos State, the governor of Lagos State has admitted that 2 people lost their lives. The circumstances will have to be explained later. But the 2 were among the people that were shot at by the invading soldiers. Having said that, I am saying with all emphasis at my disposal that the military, the armed forces, have no business to man or to enforce a curfew under our law, either under the Constitution or the Armed Forces Act. That is primary. That's number 1. Number 2, last year, the same chief of army staff announced that the Nigerian army was going to conduct operation identification, whatever. Everybody had to show his identity card. Everybody has to show a ID card and the rest. I went to court. How dare you in a civilian democratic regime? And in a judgment delivered, I think on June 15th this year, I won the case, and the court, the federal court, held that even if there was going to be an identification parade of any sort, it is the business of the police to man the democratic process. The armed forces have no power to come to town under a civilian dispensation. And then I can give you about 5 other cases where the court has ruled you cannot be part of any operation. So when they now talk this year, oh, we're having crocodile smile, I said no. 6.5 a dozen. What do you mean? The court has restrained you perpetually from interfering in the affairs of Nigeria. Of course. So I'm talking of, apart from the unconstitutional action carried out by the military, the action of the chief of army staff was also contemptuous. Because once the court has given its judgment, by virtue of section 287 of the Constitution, all authorities and persons in the country shall comply. But again, that is for another day. But let me now come to, yes, to respond to the discussions, we're having. The Nigerian ruling class, devoid of ideas and programs for the security and welfare of our people, embark on what I call divide et impera tactics, divide and rule. If there is a protest, if they cannot say this is a religious problem, they will say it's ethnically motivated. Because they didn't succeed in dividing our people along ethnic and religious lines. They said it was politically motivated. Of course, every protest is politically motivated. Because you are challenging the killings of people, extrajudicial killings by the police. You are challenging extortion of innocent members of the public. You are challenging illegal arrest and detention of the Nigerian people. So it's a political action. So if we are going to stop the dehumanization of the Nigerian people, it has to be politically motivated. But what they meant was, oh, you're either being used by the PDP or some of their own people in APC. That is their own understanding. That's what they want Nigerians to know. But they know in the villa, in the security circle, that the action, the protest, of course, it's a political action. So please don't be deceived. The ordinary people that were hijacked at the park, Gabi Park, to harass protesters in Kaduna. Of course, you also, in Abuja, of course, you also saw security vehicles without numbers, plate numbers, in broad daylight, in a city where you have the whole world, because that is where you locate all the embassies. Thugs were being moved and ferried around to attack unarmed people, and they were firing at them. What has the government said? Oh, we are not involved. In Lagos, we are not involved. Hey, I beg your pardon. The duty of the government anywhere in the world is to trace the criminal elements that are trying to kill your own citizens for exercising their freedom of expression and assembly. You can't wash your hands off like Pontius Pilate. No, it's not allowed under our law. And why I feel more agony than other Nigerians is that some of these people in government were defended by us. We defended their right to protest. We won the case from the High Court to the Court of Appeal. We now got the National Assembly to say, in view of the judicial recognition of the right to protest in Nigeria, won't you protect Nigerians who may want to protest against policies that are considered inimical to their interest? And the National Assembly on 15th of March 2015 amended the electoral. Section 94 provides that during protest, this is very important for all of us to take home. During protest, the police shall provide adequate security, not just security, adequate security for protesters. In this instance, not only did the police fail woefully to carry out their statutory duties, the system hired thugs armed to the teeth to attack protesters, and they killed some of them. But let me assure you that my colleagues and I've never seen the level of solidarity, never in Nigeria, among Nigerian lawyers. As far as this matter is concerned, we are going to ensure that justice is done to everybody. I can answer that we have won cases where those who were killed during riots, and this our government came to court. Oh, you can't ask for compensation. those who killed this individual, unfortunately, were rioters. And the court said, how dare you? Don't you have a duty as a government to defend the property and life of every citizen? For that reason, go and pay $75,000. In another case, a 13-year-old Nigerian boy was killed in Ghana. There was an excursion, and they went swimming. And the boy didn't know how to swim. He got drowned. The ECOWAS court awarded $250,000 to his parents. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this neo-colonial state will never, ever again allow Nigerians to be attacked on the street by so-called hoodlums and thugs. Will never again allow criminal elements to set fire on the properties of citizens. Because, again, know this, as far as the law is concerned, if through the negligence of the police, they were unable to protect your property, and your property was set on fire, you are entitled to compensation by the state. And we have precedents in this country. The federal government in 2011 paid the victims, those who lost their properties in the 2011 political violence in about 12 states in the country. So you just get that clear. But the last point I would like to make is on the gains of the struggle. Please, it is very important for Nigerians to know that this battle was not lost. First of all, the intangible aspect of the struggle, and which is the most fundamental, is that young men and women, young Nigerians rejected compromise, rejected bribe, and showed that the people of Nigeria can be united. And you know, a people united can never be defeated. And that is what has just happened. Two, the ruling class that thought that Nigerians had been defeated, that thought that Nigerians had been conquered, and so we could do whatever we like, have just been made to realize there can never be business as usual in our country again. And the young people are saying enough is enough. Enough of mediocrity, enough of corruption, enough of dehumanization, enough of extrajudicial killings. But what are the other gains? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, SARS has gone forever. And if we are mobilized, if we are united, whatever has replaced SARS, they call it SWAT, all the members of SARS are not going to be allowed to convert to SWAT members. Secondly, the program, the syllabus, is going to be designed by police authorities in partnership with some international human rights bodies, particularly some human rights leaders in the country. Furthermore, the federal government has agreed, the National Economic Council has directed governors to audit and ensure accountability with respect to the extrajudicial killings of our people by SARS. And so all the state governments in Nigeria have established judicial panels, and their constitution, as you are all aware, for the first time is drawn from, maybe a retired judge, civil society organization, and the youths, because the future belongs to you. state governors are going to have human rights public complaint committees in each of the states. The federal government has earmarked $75 billion, what they call investment fund for the youth. And some of the state government are going to employ young people who are on the street, or your state has started, or your state has announced that it's going to create 5,000 jobs. And if you have 5,000 jobs created by 36 states and Abuja, you know what that means? But let me say this, and this is why we must never be tired. The government, the report of 2018 that has never been implemented, the government has now said 37 police officers who violated the rights of Nigerians are going to be tried. 2, 24 police officers who engage in extrajudicial killing are going to be prosecuted. 22 others are going to be investigated. Lagos alone has already charged about 24 police officers whose cases might have been thrown to the dustbin. Who say you have not succeeded? But let me now leave you with what will surprise you. Nigeria has one of the most comprehensive human rights law regimes in the world, on paper. And that is the challenge I'm going to throw to all of you. Because if you do not know your rights, you cannot know how to fight for them. This country, this our country, under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, no Nigerian, under the Constitution, no Nigerian shall be detained for more than 48 hours without being taken to court. If you are not going to be taken to court, the government must go to court to get an order to detain you. So you cannot be detained at the pleasure of the police or the army. 2, if you get to a police station in Nigeria, the police will tell you, must tell you now, these are your rights under the law. Number 1, you are entitled to contact your next of kin. If you do not have a phone there, the police will give you a phone and buy credit at the expense of the state. 3, no Nigerian shall be arrested for a civil wrong. Your landlord can never arrest you as a tenant because that is a civil wrong. No Nigerian can be arrested in respect of land matters. No Nigerian can be arrested in lieu of a criminal suspect. The question of, oh, we are looking for a father. We can't find the father. We arrest the son or the daughter. That belongs to the past. What are the other rights? You are not bound to make a statement in a police station. If you do not want to make a statement, you are not obliged. In a police station, before you answer any question, you are entitled to a lawyer of your choice. If you do not have a lawyer, if you are an indigent citizen, the law says the police shall inform the legal aid council to get you a lawyer at the expense of the Nigerian state. The final one, there are many, a legion of right. But let me tell you the final one. And this is where the lawyers and the judges have a lot of blame when it comes to the rights of Nigerians. Section 34 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act provides that at least once a month, every police station in Nigeria shall be visited, shall be inspected by a chief magistrate designated by the chief judge. Every other detention facility of EFCC, ICPC, armed forces, and the rest of them shall also be visited once a month. The point I'm making, if monthly detention centers are visited, you can be sure that no Nigerian will be in detention for recklessly for more than 1 month. But as we are gathered here, I know Nigerians who have been in prison without trial, who have been in detention, police custody, for months without trial, because such inspection is not carried out. Once the magistrate or the judge visits, he or she is empowered to grant bail there instanta, or order that the person be taken to court, or order the release of the person absolutely. I'm therefore going to leave you with this message, that the law is on the side of the Nigerian people. What we now need to do, and we're working to get a pamphlet produced of the rights that have been recognized by the Constitution and other laws. One of you may ask me, can I say in the police station I'm not going to make a statement? Won't they torture me? Torture has become a criminal offense. It has been criminalized since 2017, but Nigerians are not aware. Some of us have shouted as experts. If you torture a Nigerian today and it's proved, the penalty is 25 years imprisonment. If the person dies, you are going to be charged with murder, and the family members will be entitled to compensation. So if all these rights are already guaranteed by the Constitution and other statutes, what is therefore left is how Nigerians are going to organize themselves. Neighborhood area, every ward, there must be a human rights committee, every ward in Nigeria, to protect the rights of everybody on the basis of these rights that have been granted. Let me conclude by saying, don't be deceived by those who say, oh, this is not a national agenda. I've told you, I can tell you, I've been taking part in the struggle in this country for decades. Let me assure those who are protesting that this is one of the most pan-Nigerian struggle that we have ever witnessed in this country. The governor said, this is a Southern Africa, and that we don't have trouble in the North. The largest crowd ever witnessed in this alleged looting of palliatives was in that state, Jos. You also had a massive protest in Jos. We are protesting Kaduna. We are protesting Kano. We are protesting Adamawa. We are protesting Kogi. How dare you to say that this struggle is sectional? Therefore, I want to thank you, the organizers of this program, and all of you are participating. Please resolve at the end of this program. You must leave here to let the world know what some of the statements I've made to you about the rights of Nigeria, so that we can get organized and defend the rights of every citizen, because an attack on any Nigerian must be seen as an attack on all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for covering this from work. Thank you so much, Baba. And with us, you probably get some questions. Otherwise, we will take a few more persons, and the next person will also be a lawyer, Inibe Effiong, who has been challenging the Lagos panel that was set up to investigate SARS killings in Lagos, and eventually recently added that it is also now legal to add to the investigation of the panel the investigation into the killings at Lekki. Because before it was revealed that the governor was the one who asked that this should happen. So Inibe, just take it away quickly. Let us get an idea of where we are with regards to this particular issue that you have been challenging, and what's going to be the outcome. Let me quickly unmute you 1 second, please. I've unmuted you, I think. Yes, you're good to go.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I want to commend my mentor, my godfather, my hero, Mr. Femi Falana SN, the man who inspires me a whole lot. I'm now told that he influenced the way I talk. I don't know. People say he has influenced my mannerism, my mode of talking, I think is a good thing. I'm very proud of you, sir. Thank you for the education. Thank you for laying the foundation for some of us to work on. Now, the panel of inquiry that the Lagos State government has constituted, I had to raise alarm that it is important for the governor to clarify the legality of this panel. If you look at the Tribunals of Inquiry law of Lagos State, section 1 of that law, it states that the governor may, by an instrument, appoint a commission or a panel or a tribunal of inquiry into, any matter that is in the public interest. Now, originally, some Governor Sanwo-Olu said that this panel was going to investigate SARS abuses. And just when the tribunal was preparing to commence sitting, the governor announced, following the tragic event of October 20th, that the jurisdiction of this tribunal has now been extended to include investigation into what he described as the Lekki Tollgate incident. The question is, on what legal basis is this panel investigating the abuses by SARS and the Lekki Tollgate incident as they framed it? This is important so that tomorrow, somebody who is indicted by this panel can simply go to court to have that indictment set aside on grounds of illegality, on grounds of procedural irregularity. If the law says the panel should be set up by an instrument, why has the governor not published the instruments by which this panel was set up to clearly show the terms of reference of this panel? I don't think that is too much to ask for. Let the instrument be published, which is why I took the initiative and sent a freedom of information request to the governor to ask for a certified true copy of the instruments that set up the Lagos SARS abuses and Lekki Tollgate incident panel. I am still waiting for a response from the governor. I have also requested that the governor should avail me of the certified true copy of the instrument or the executive order or directive by which the curfew of 20th October was imposed. The reason is this. The governor earlier announced, for those of us who were in Lagos, that the curfew was going to take effect from 4 p.m. And before 4 p.m., it was revised by the governor to commence by 9 p.m. And as it has been shown, this attack at Lekki Tollgate started at about 6:50 p.m. The implication, therefore, is that as at the time this attack took place, there was no curfew in Lagos State. There was no curfew. So it is not correct for anybody to say that the protesters were attacked for violating a curfew. You cannot violate what does not exist in the eyes of the law. Which is why I am saying that the governor should avail me of the instrument by which that curfew was imposed. This is also important for lawyers and petitioners who are going before the tribunal to make a case. They should be able to refer the tribunal to the instrument that imposed the curfew to make a case that at the time this attack started, there was no curfew in Lagos State. Again, the Lekki Tollgate incident is said to have been captured by CCTV recording. The governor Sanwo-Olu has also attested to this. Nobody has seen the record. And as far as I am concerned, if people are going to make representation before the panel, they should have the opportunity of seeing what was captured on video to assist them in making their case. So I do not understand why till now these videos have not been published. It raises serious questions. So beyond the legality, I am also encouraging us, beyond Lagos State, across the 36 states, for the states that these panels have been constituted, to insist that governors should compulsorily publish the instrument by which they are setting up these panels. Otherwise, these rogue officers may be indicted tomorrow and they will simply go to court and have their indictments and the resolution set aside by a court. Secondly, or furthermore, it is important for all of us to insist that all the states that have set up these panels should also set up an amount of money as victim support fund. Only Lagos State, to my knowledge, has set aside the sum of 200 million naira. Otherwise, what is the point? What is the point of setting up the panel when we know that governors themselves do not have power to implement whatever findings are arrived at? They will still have to hope and depend on Abuja, for this reports to be implemented. There is no governor in Nigeria today that can sanction a military officer or even a police officer. It is still the Police Service Commission or the military authorities or the federal government that will implement the report of this panel. So Nigerians should be very, very watchful. I am not being skeptical. I am not being pessimistic. I am talking as somebody who has studied the history of this kind of investigation. Like Glenn Senior Advocate said, till today, the report of the Kaduna State Commission of Inquiry has not been implemented. No soldier has been put on trial. No soldier has been court-martialed for killing over 360 Shiites, members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria. No soldier has been court-martialed for the killing of over 150 members of IPOB. No soldier has been court-martialed for the killing of protesters across the country. So if we are going to have a panel, every state should devote substantial amount of money to compensate victims. At least that should be a starting point. We now fight for prosecution. So any governor in Nigeria that does not set up an amount of money as compensation for victims, we have to ask why. Only Lagos has done that, and you can imagine it's just a meager 200 million. How many people would they compensate with 200 million? So the question is, are these governors truly committed to investigating these cases? Are they truly committed? As far as Lagos is concerned, the governor of Lagos State is one of those who is being accused for the attack on the Lekki toll gate. He personally has questions to answer. The governor of Lagos State has questions to answer. So the panel that is top will now have to make findings on the complicity of the same governor that set up that panel. So we have to be watchful, which was why when we saw the scandalous oath of secrecy that they wanted to administer on the members, you can imagine, under Section 3 of the Tribunal of Inquiry law, oath of secrecy can only apply when a commission of inquiry is sitting in secret. This is a public inquiry. Even though the members rejected that oath, why was it introduced in the first place? So nobody should go to sleep. I am encouraging all of us in our various states to be attending these panels of inquiry. The media must also monitor and follow up on these cases. People have been killed, people have been slaughtered by SARS. Just this morning, I was told of a case in Port Harcourt where somebody suddenly disappeared and not been seen despite a court order by SARS. So people who are going to make cases before these panels, we must follow up, we must insist that they should be brought to justice. Protesters who also sustained injuries, who were attacked during this protest, states to file actions against the government. And some of us are available to assist in, filing such cases. Mr. Falana, is providing leadership in that direction. It is not enough for us to just go back and wait for another protest. We should be able to sue the government at every turn. And rounding up, I want to say that this is the first time in my lifetime that I have seen young people, Nigerians, come out in their thousands without unnecessary recourse to ethnic or religious sentiments to demand accountability. For the first time in my lifetime, the Nigerian state now realizes that the Nigerian people can demand good governance when they organize themselves. That is why they are afraid. That is why they are beginning to say that, oh, it was Igbos who were burning properties in Lagos, Yoruba properties. They bring these stupid sentiments because they know that that is our weak link. So we must be vigilant not to fall for this deception. We must continue to insist that Nigerians have a collective enemy, which is poverty, bad governance, and corruption. Therefore, going forward, we must organize ourselves. We must continue to hold these politicians accountable. And I do not want to see, and I believe this should be a collective result, a situation where after 1 month, 2 months, everybody will just return to his comfort zone. You will drive on the road, you will see a fellow citizen being harassed by a policeman, and we just behave as if it doesn't concern us. So going forward, it should be our collective resolve. Whenever we see citizens being harassed, being molested, we should stop by to find out why they are being harassed. And I saw that in Computer Village recently, where a policeman tried to harass a commercial, driver. And people came out and said, you cannot do that. And he was chased away. So that has to be the attitude of Nigerians going forward. This is the momentum that we have built, and we must find a way to consolidate on it. It is no longer business as usual. Politicians have now realized that power truly belongs to the Nigerian people. So as lawyers, as citizens, as journalists, as whoever you are, whatever you do, this is our culture, and we must collectively do whatever we can to secure the future of this country. We must do everything that we can to save this country from collapse. So
thank you.
I hope that that's the attitude going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our counsel Inibehe. Great job there breaking this down. It would have been good to ask you a few more questions, but we want to keep this within 2 hours. So we'll go to those who have been raising their hands. But before you go ahead, I want those who are speaking to go straight to the point and also make it as quick as possible. In my view, we should be discussing when and how we continue to hold the streets. Because if there's any victory that we have gotten and that must be sustained, it came from the boldness that we showed on the streets in front of their soldiers, their police, all kinds of bulletins that were issued, attacks, trolling on social media. We did not back down. That's why we call this meeting, Zoom meeting, no back down Zoom meeting. And in my view, this is well attended. We have over 320 people that are here in this meeting. It's been broadcast live, and I think it's been watched by almost 2,000 people at this point on Sahara Reporters Facebook page. You can also see it there. And you can share the information as well on your respective Facebook and Twitter pages and WhatsApp groups. So also, I want to commend, because not many people are talking about this. We want to commend the diaspora community. Some cities have had 4 protests. I know of New York, Toronto, almost the whole of Canada is on fire. The UK, it's like every day they have been protesting. Even after we stopped over here, the UK is still protesting. I've been posting protest notifications about protests that are still going to happen on Sunday, some on Saturday, some on Friday, some tomorrow. We want to commend our diaspora community. They have become our own international community. Imagine if we didn't have the diaspora and we're waiting for America and France and Britain. Some people are sharing their page on this. This is wrong, please. Kindly stop it. Don't share your desktop on this place. I don't know who is this. It says Dembele. Please do not share your desktop on this place. Please, can you please stop sharing your desktop? Thank you. Please don't do that. We appreciate that. So we must stand the diaspora. They have become our new international community. We don't have to wait for the government of United Kingdom anymore, or Britain, or Canada, or US, or Australia. They have become a collective commonwealth of nations. So I think Baba, I want to say something quickly. Let's unmute yourself. If you want, Ms. Falana wants to say something very quickly.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I just want us to be very careful that we don't swallow hook, line, and sinker the language of the ruling class. We have to be very careful that we do not use we don't adopt the language of the ruling class. For instance, they are talking of looters. Who are looters in Nigeria? Who are murderers in Nigeria? Money has been set aside to build a hospital because that money was stolen. People are dying in their thousands, if not millions. Money has been earmarked to build roads. The roads are not built, and people are dying on our ill-maintained roads. So, and nobody calls them murderers. Because what they are doing is genocidal. Secondly, this regime, the Buhari administration, published the list of looters twice. Has published the list of looters twice. The PDP has also published the list of looters, as its members of the APC. And those are the real looters, those who have criminally diverted billions of naira from the public treasury. Secondly, the people they call hoodlums during riots are the people that they use as thugs during election. The same people are called area boys or miscreants or anarchists. Who is an anarchist? Please, let us be very careful that this system has bred hoodlums. You use them during election. In fact, there was somebody that some armed robbers were arrested in Alpha. They went to rob a bank, killed 33 people, including 9 policemen and 1 pregnant woman. And what did they say? He said, no, we are not armed robbers. We are not professional armed robbers. We are professional thugs, political thugs. As if thuggery is legalized in Nigeria. But as far as the ruling class members are concerned, thugs are allowed to operate. Thugs are allowed to operate in each of the cities. All the politicians in Nigeria, majority of them, have thugs. And those thugs after election are allowed to go away with their arms and ammunition. And those are the weapons they turn against the people. But let me say this. Let me say this. So that we know where these problems are coming from. There is nowhere in the world where you do not have riots. I've just told you about America. 140 cities had riots following the killing of George Floyd. 140 cities. But I beg you, and this is the program in Nigeria before. This is the first time since 1914 that protests took place in Nigeria. The state could not stop the protest. You know why? Sowore and many of my colleagues here, you have taken part in protests here before. There is not one that was not dispersed with tear gas if they wanted to do that. But our country does not have a canister of tear gas in most of our police command. Abuja had a few that quickly exhausted. Abuja had water cannon. Water cannon is supposed to have some hot water. There was no heater. So people, you know, there are no rubber bullets in our country. So we must therefore say there is no law that allows you to kill protesters, to kill even the so-called hoodlums. Those who are looting purportedly are supposed to be disabled. At the very best, if your life is in danger as a policeman, you start by shooting in the leg. You don't shoot in the head. And that is what they are doing now. By the time the figures are out of the number of people killed in this country in the last 2 weeks, the whole world will cry and say this is genocidal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert. appreciate that intervention. Let me start taking people here. I see here Solomon Simeon. Please, can you do it for? Let's please respect time. We don't have time. I want to take as many people as possible. Solomon, I'm going to unmute you. Solomon Simeon. Okay, here you go. Unmuted. Go ahead.
Mr. Solomon Kukio from Delta State, Abaka, precisely.
Welcome.
The only thing we, the Deltas, we have this kind of stubborn mind. We don't run. You not get the way you did do. We don't run. Then when the curfew was imposed, because the last time during that COVID-19 issue, when they imposed no going out, the police and the vigilante, they used it as a source of means to make good money. Like they extorted money from citizens bloodily. So when this curfew was imposed, because of the fear of the protests we did that week, the police and the vigilante had to hold meeting that they should not risk their life coming out to extort money from anybody. So because of that case, even the curfew did not work in Abaka here because they were all scared. My main point here is that let's reorganize, let's organize ourselves again.
Thank you
because
so
the
much.
thing really worked out. The thing really worked out here in Abaka. The thing worked out 100%. So that's just my point.
Right. Yeah, Oxford Anderson, please hit it. Oxford Anderson, if you're there, I've unmuted you. Oxford Anderson, we're not hearing from you. In the absence of Oxford, I'll go to David Oberaifo. David Oberaifo, if you're there, please take it from us. David Oberaifo Udo. David Oberaifo Udo. I've unmuted you.
Okay, good evening.
Make it quick. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be very, very brief. I want to congratulate everyone for their efforts they've put in so far in this struggle. What I just want to say is, one, so far so good. I just want us to have two main focal points. One is strategy with which we can work. And secondly, to have at the back of our mind, if we are fighting to get a revolution, there's a high point. There's a high probability that we might not get it. Is it possible for us to enforce some few policies, which we know even if we're able to get a revolution now, but by 2023, if we have people we want to go for any political position, the electoral bill would have been passed, and we'll be able to vote our people into, in a free and fair election, into power. You know, it's going not something that happen overnight, and there's probability few results. So my own is we should get strategy as regards how the protest should go and how we can work with maybe have a synergy with other groups, and secondly, to use this struggle to, if not get a revolution, at least get some policies, especially the electoral bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother David. Let me go to, I hope the Secretariat is taking notes. There's someone from the Secretariat taking note of all these comments and questions. I have Ayodele Thomas here.
Yes, we're taking notes.
All right.
I'm taking notes of
Ayodele
messages.
Thomas. Ayodele Amos. Please, take it away.
Yeah.
I didn't have Ayodele Amos. Okay. Doesn't look like we're lucky with you there. Okay, Ayodele Amos. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Hello.
Okay, yes,
Hello?
Ayodele Amos. Yes.
My name is Ayodele Amos Sowore.
All right.
Whatever I want to say, I've been sending it through this platform, and I think if it is fully digested,
okay.
so what is my mind, I've been sent. What I see is that the governor of Lagos State should be held responsible and should be tried. He should be recalled from that position of the governor of Lagos State to answer the question, to face the charges of genocide, human life, taking of human life, and all sorts of things. And by the way, you can see what happened in Osun State when the governor said all those that looted
food items. The hungry people that wanted food, that carried food items, asking them to take it back within 72 hours. In fact, it was a drama. The youth returned to him that all the looters of Osun State, since the beginning of Osun State, should first of all return all their loot to the central bank nearby. In fact, I appreciate, revolution have started. We have to continue. The struggle continues. The struggle continues. As Martin Luther King said, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. So we are not criminals. So thank you very much. That's my submission.
Yes, I have Etuk Pekin. I think I've muted you. Etuk Pekin. Etuk. Like I haven't, it's kind of difficult to unmute you. Okay. Let me do Lekon Idowu. Lekon Idowu, I've unmuted you. If you can take
illegal or something.
like
We need to be
government
radical.
for young people.
Exactly, like a shadow government online where we can already have people we trust and know and a system that's working. We need new ideas for these old heads. So even if we can't maybe put in the press to make them, sit up and get curious. Something.
Thank you. That's going to be noted.
From Benin.
Okay.
I can say Victoria from Benin.
Can you unmute him and so that
yes.
he can? I think your system is. If your system is now, you can take it over for now. Let me just quickly excuse myself, and I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. All right, Victor, you can unmute now.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. I'll go straight to the point.
Make your point.
Preventing. I think our organizational structure from the top is really, really poor. We did a good job on the 1st of October because we had a central reporting system that could monitor every state at a go. But after that, I think that central reporting system failed us. And that's why there are lapses everywhere because I'm still feeling the brunt of this protest.
In a minute, please.
I'm still feeling the brunt of this protest. So bottom line, we need to rearrange our organizational structure at the top so that we know exactly what we're aiming at and what we're doing. That's what I think we need to do. And we need to do that within the agents. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So Victor, you can mute back. So I'm going to be unmuting Wise Man from Lagos. Wise Man, I've unmuted you in 2 minutes, please. Wise Man, you can unmute yourself now. You're unmuted. You are unmuted, please. Okay. Well, if Wise Man is not ready, I guess. Okay, there is Chidi.
I have omitted myself.
Okay, all right. Please go on.
Yes, with what we have from Lagos, what we have decided to do here, we have met twice in Lagos, and I think we met the third time today. We had the press conference. Is that there is a need for us to also network at all the barricades. Like in Lagos, we have over 1,000 places where people block the roads. At each of those places where people block roads, we need to look for at least one person that coordinated each of these roads, whether they call them hoodlums or what it is, because of the fire next time, we must be prepared, because one of the things that is most of us have not been talking about is that when the state unleashed terror on us, it was only the people who already had terror in them before that were able to return back the terror to the state. And that's what the state now later called hoodlums. They are the people that the state later called hoodlums and not the rest. For the sake of political education to all of these our comrades, there's a need for us to network all of these people. And the general clamor for a new Nigeria is a clamor that we should all work on. And that is why the new Nigeria networking all over the country, which we have seen today with this meeting, is what we need to keep sustaining. Have a working secretariat all over the country, you get it, and keep all of this on board. And then, as we meet today, there's a need for us to generate a newsletter out of it, even if it is a 4-pager newsletter out of today's meeting, and through different platforms and the rest, because we need real political education. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, please mute yourself, wise man. Mute yourself. I'm going to be unmuting Emiola Solomon from Oyo State. Emiola Solomon, you're unmuted. Please fire on. Emiola Solomon, are you ready? I've unmuted you. Please fire on. Okay, if Emiola Solomon is not ready, I guess I would have to unmute someone else.
Hello, good evening.
Okay, good.
Hello, Emiola
Yes,
Solomon
go on, please.
from Oyo State. This is just my little contribution. I think now we need to embrace the new trend of New Nigeria. As Comrade Wise has said, and also our core charter, we've neglected it. This is the time we need to preach the gospel in it, so that the people will see the names for the new political party that has just emerged, which is AAC, because we've been derailing from our course. Along the line, as we are pushing revolution now agenda, we ought to know what they are really fighting for. Many people just came out to protest. They don't know what they are protesting for. They'll say, okay, because my friend is there, let me also go there, because they lack the education. A massacre that occurred in Ibadan here or Joy here, nothing was mentioned about it, even though the media do as if nothing happened, in which we still have 11 people at UCH presently now. We don't know the total number of people that died, and everything just swept under the carpet at this present moment. Nothing was done. Even the governor he's not doing as if he heard of it. So I don't know ways in which we can help this situation.
Yes, I think it's not even only particular to Ibadan. You know, everywhere you go, they're mentioning Lekki shootings, but a lot of people were killed almost at every barricades in Lagos. Almost every barricades in Lagos. I know about the number of persons that were killed in Badagry. No less than 3 persons were killed in Badagry. A number of scores of others injured. I know same thing happened in Benin, in Delta State, in a lot of places. You know, these are some of the issues we intend to compile and give both legal and political challenge to this issue. Because in any case, for instance, in Lagos, it is clear that the governor has been indicted. Who initially was denying, he indicted he indicted the Nigerian military at a CNN interview. Now the military had come out to say that hey, look, we received, we were invited by the Lagos State governor. And for some of us, probably we may not be aware, there is a section of the armed forces called the OPMISAP, which is not only funded by state government, but it also received directive from state government. And out of about 36 states, currently about 26 states, 26 states have that department of the military called OPMISA that helps to do very dirty job for the state government. So also one of the things going from that down to the issues you raised regarding the court charter. Yes, in fact, going through the chart, it has become an agitation that an average Nigerian should have access to the court charter. During the protest at the Alausa barricade, we produced massively the colored version of the court charter, and we circulated it at the Alausa protest. That was the best that could be done. So, but I believe that now we need to mass produce, to circulate physically across the country, and also send in the form of newsletter. You need to send it in the form of newsletter to all subscribers. So in case if you have not subscribed to our newsletter, you can do that at revolutionnow.ng on the website. Subscribe for our newsletter so you can get to receive the court charter in soft copy, and you can it seems Dr. Chidi is not ready. Let me unmute someone else. Michael Fabumi. Michael Fabumi from the UK. Michael Fabumi, you are unmuted.
Struggle to defund. Actually, the struggle here is to defund the police. So it's actually interesting, and I don't even know who came up with the 5 for 5 demands, which actually one of the demands is to fund the police. But one of the things which I just want to highlight some things maybe that have not been said, and then I'll also touch on some of the strategies that people spoke about. And one is I see the emergence at this time of 2 different groups of people that the government is going to respond to. There are the revolutionaries and there are the reactionaries. And the government will always choose to interact with those who will be moderate and those who are more likely to do their bidding in any case. So they have seen the power of the Nigerian people, and now they're looking for who to negotiate with. And they won't want to negotiate with anyone that they cannot control. So while we are also aware of what the government is doing, we also have to be aware of who they're going to negotiate with and who they're going to recognize. And several comrades have even spoke about how the narrative is already being pushed that people were murdered at a particular location, and everybody else that was murdered, we're not hearing about them anymore. And that's actually pushing a specific narrative to say these lives are more important and these lives are less important. So we have to really watch that narrative. We also have to watch as they negotiate and as they create these platforms and these things that Baba spoke about, these various police panels and everything like that. They're going to cherry pick whoever is going to be most important, which is what they try to do in Lagos. And they're also going to attempt to silence them. So we have to be continually aware of that and just be cognizant of that as we pursue our own strategy. So the second thing I want to talk about is, the question on this call was like, what next? What happens next? I'll just share some of my ideas. And the first one is, of course, documenting and amplifying what happened in all the rest of the cities. So I know I've been hearing a lot, and Baba spoke to it, there was no protest in the north, there was no protest in Kaduna. This is the development of a specific narrative. And the narrative is created to divide and conquer, to start to create these ideas that this is a separate movement, this is for this, even within our own even within our own WhatsApp chats, I have challenged several people on some of the anti-Northern sentiment that is within even ourselves. And this is very, very important, because if we're really going to build this movement and strengthen it, we have to also get rid of those sentiments amongst ourselves, and also challenge ourselves to develop a counter narrative. So documenting and amplifying everyone that was killed on every street, in every place, every name, and telling their stories, publishing their pictures. It seems very small and mundane, but this is what they're going to do. They will create, in any situation, remember, they will create who the heroes are, and they will create who are not heroes. So we have to focus on that. Secondly, in building the movement, in strengthening the movement that we currently have, several comrades have spoken to how we need to really go very local and develop structures. Some of the states are already strong and the structures are very strong, but some of the states need stronger structures, and even some need completely new structures. Because as was said, many people came to the protest. You know, I work with the youth in Jos. Many of them came, some of them don't even know what's going on. So now there's even a sensitization campaign about what are we even protesting about. And it's a ripe time to bring out the core charter of demands. Now, the charter of demands are very heavy. We have to also break those down in a way which can be simplified. We need cartoons, we need artwork, we need to translate these into multiple languages. We really need to make the demands accessible. Secondly, the strengthening of the movement. I've spoken when I started about the involvement of women. This has historically been a challenge in Nigeria and globally, but we cannot run this without the involvement of women, and young women in particular. And they are there and they are ready, but they might not be ready to go to the streets. So how do we recruit them? How do we retain them? How do we make sure that when they come to the movement, they don't risk abuse, they don't risk being harassed by members, they have a safe place to come and interact, even if they don't want to go to the barricade. There's a role for everybody, and there are multiple roles in the movement, not just at the barricade. So I just want to promote that we have to have very decentralized, localized structures. And these structures must also engage in massive education, training, political conscientization, and recruitment. Very important that when we're out there on the streets, when you're at the barricades, the recruitment needs to happen, and it needs to happen continuously. Oh, come to our meeting. So there has to be regular meetings. Like when people came to the protest, we approached all of them and we said, okay, please come to our meeting, because after a few weeks, nobody came again. After a few months, you couldn't find those people. But if you're able to get them and get their phone numbers, or even tell them about your meeting and the meeting location, because even now, that's one of the things we're struggling with in Jos is, where is everybody that came to the protest? Because it was truncated in such a way that people didn't even take each other's numbers. So they're just now finding each other. So that massive recruitment needs to take place. And then in terms of our demands, we need to figure out these structures. Somebody once mentioned the shadow governments, and that is something that we can think about. We need a Ministry of Information, we need a Ministry of Strategy, we need a Ministry of Finance. We need to actually have all the mechanisms to build a very strong structure, both at the national level and at the local level. And I'm new to the movement, so maybe all these structures exist, but and I don't know about them, but they can always be strengthened. And especially I know at the level of the local, they can also be strengthened. So that is my submission. I've taken more than my time.
Thank you so much, Nare. I think you made absolute sense here, great sense. And I'm glad we have you to hear from you tonight. The only thing I want to correct, which is I've not seen beyond, I've participated in a lot of protests. Over 30 years, including in the US, when I was there for 20 years. I think the level of participation of women, especially women in our own movement, is very high in this particular protest, both at home and abroad. Some of our women who were injured are still receiving treatment in Lagos, in Abuja, in Kaduna, and other places where women participate. But we can always improve upon all this. When this protest get a little bit intense, women can become targets, and I think that might have led to why you see less of them as protest. In Abuja, where I participated, I went to certain protests that had more women than men some days. So this is encouraging, and we must keep it up. Do you want permit me to take another lady? I think her name is Oluwatoyin Precious.
Yes.
Precious, I'm going to unmute you, or you can help me unmute her if you have access to important.
Precious Abina Briggs. Oluwatoyin, what's the name?
Oluwatoyin Precious.
Oluwatoyin Precious.
Oluwatoyin Precious.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Take it away,
Good
Tony.
evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I asked a question the other time, and I believe the question might be so funny. I said, sir, Mr. Sowore, can you just be the president? Actually, I just talked. The reason why I said that was because with all of those things happening in the country, we need reformation. That is the basis, and revolution. Now, what is the way forward? To many of us, we are ready for anything. And when I mean anything, I mean capital letter, anything. Anything. So the way forward now is what everyone is anticipating to hear. So, sir, please, we need the way forward. God help everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony. And I think everybody should take a cue from you. You just say what you have to say and you say goodbye. Thank you so much. Let me also take Bumiola from Texas. He's been reaching out. They did a lot of.
There's even a lady here.
Yeah, we'll take the lady after Bumiola. Bumi, I think I've unmuted you. Bumiola, Juwon, if you can help me unmute Bumiola from Texas.
Bumiola,
yes.
I think I'm on mute.
Okay, yeah, he's unmuted now.
Okay.
And if anybody can find Dr. Chidi still, I think he's in hiding somewhere in Toronto. We should bring him on.
I've tried unmuting him, but he wasn't speaking. I guess what.
Go ahead. Let's do this quickly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I really want to appreciate the opportunity to speak here. Again, I'm very confident with the leadership of this group. I appreciate Mr. Femi Falana and Barrister Effiong kind of opining. So really, really proud of the leadership here. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time I only have about a minute. But, everyone have essentially spoken about everything from the original October 1st revolutionary protest to the Endsars protests to the Lekki toll gate shooting, and then the aftermath. With the aftermath is what we're dealing with right now, which basically, the food pantries is what I want to call it. Leaders hoarding food from citizens, which is probably one of the saddest thing anybody can imagine. But anyway, that said, the only 2 points I want to make here today is just one, to bring encouragement that first of all, let me just say I'm based in Dallas, Texas, and I'm not in Nigeria physically, obviously, but just bring encouragement that globally we are all, Nigerians in diaspora are all supporting, every effort being made by people in Nigeria to basically free themselves from the shackles of these, I don't even know what to call them, monsters, right? The past week, I've been participating, encouraging, pushing, dragging, post-protest in Dallas, Houston, everywhere, I could. Led a few in Dallas, Texas over the weekend, Saturday, 11 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. We can't stop. We're not going to stop. We're not going to keep quiet. We're going to keep going. The second message I want to bring up is I'm really happy that this is broad-based. This protest is not limited to a few people or a section of the country. This is everywhere by everybody, creed, religion, ethnicity, everybody's involved. And my message is we should keep it that way. We shouldn't put message out there that would alienate anybody. We shouldn't say things that would alienate certain ethnic group or religious group or creed. We need to keep everybody involved, keep everybody encouraged, and keep driving with the momentum. I believe victory is certain. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bumi. Okay. I wanted to.
So
go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted us to have another lady, Simi,
yes,
and then we have Baba Yi, the co-convener of CORE, because I just saw him on this call.
Has also returned. Chidi has returned. Don't forget to Chidi from Canada.
Okay, yes, that's okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hi, Joe. So I just wanted to, you guys are speaking about legal action against people like Buhari, Tinubu, everyone that had a contribution to this. But how are you going to come about it? Is it going to be like through protests, or because when the very system itself is corrupt, us protesting, is it just to raise awareness so that we gain more traction in taking them to court? But then if the very court itself is corrupt, then what do we do about it? And I think also, I'm sure you guys are doing stuff like this, but mobilizing youth in universities, as well as sort of educating youth that don't have that capacity to think about their rights. Like, they don't even know what their rights are. So maybe also spending some time trying to educate these youth. And it's going to be a long process, but I think, it's in the hands of the youth, our future now, and the revolution that we're speaking about.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We love that. And please, if you're a lady out there, we want to hear more of your voices. It's very, very important that we don't let anybody quieten you. And like I said, I was in Abuja throughout this period, and I saw a lot of ladies, young ladies, and I've never seen that many young people before. Even when folks attacked, they didn't run away. So let's keep having that. I've seen a lot of young ladies and men in diaspora anchoring this movement, and I've lost count of how many cities where this protest took place in Nigeria and across the world now. So let's keep pushing. I think Dr. Chidi said back, but you want to take Baba Aye next, please go ahead, take it away.
Yes. Okay, Dr. Chidi.
Okay.
Dr. Chidi, you're muted already.
Okay, I hope you guys can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Big ups to everybody. I just want to say that from this side, from the get-go, we already knew that the diaspora was going to be the last line of defense. So we already set out knowing that the day will come when we will be the ones that will continue this thing when there's a pause. And so now that there's a pause back home, we already mobilized ourselves. We're having protests in Canada, in every single city in Canada, and we are disturbing them. We're disturbing the TV station. We're disturbing the parliament. We're disturbing fellow blacks because we indicted them. We said when there was George Floyd, we all came out. And now it's happening in Nigeria. Why are you guys not doing anything? So we're doing all that. But one thing I want to tell us, especially those of us in the Revolution Now movement, I don't want us to begin to buy into this narrative because they started it. We have to realize that there are different people in this protest. There are people who are real. There are people who are still APC members who are with us, and they started trying to intimidate us. Anytime we talk, they say, "Oh, you people are trying to hijack the thing." We must never give in to that. We knew we were already prepared for this. The people that are there right now, they just woke up, and I was trying to tell them, you guys are sleepwalking. We were awake like so many years ago. So we know you're sleepwalking, but we're not going to bow down to any intimidation. We were doing this protest, but yes, it's Endsars right now, but don't be intimidated into not giving your voice, into not providing leadership. Even when the people castigate me, they call me names, they try to shut me down. I know that we have been there all this time for a time like this. And right now that we are needed, we must step up and provide that leadership. You can provide leadership by not even saying a word, but we must keep organizing because everybody depends on us, right? Everybody's like, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? We're like, you know what? We've been doing this for a long time. We told you guys this revolution was coming. You thought we were joking. Now it is upon you. When we started talking, you said, keep quiet, keep quiet. But now you're needing us to talk more. We are the people who will face this thing fire for fire. We were made for this. We were prepared for this. And this is the time not to back down. We from Canada will keep supporting you. We'll keep holding it down for you guys. And I will keep encouraging you to keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Sowore. Thank you, Juwan. Thank you, all the comrades. We're keeping it down for you guys here. Thank you.
permit me to let Bridget speak, Juwon, if you don't mind. She's been reaching out. Bridget, Bridget, please take it away.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I am so glad and I'm just so pleased that I was able to catch this group on Twitter and to register to be on here. What I just want to say very briefly is that there's a great organization going on, lots of things, but we really need prayer backup. Many of us are not able to be there physically to do a lot of things. I need to help my husband. I'm kind of his carer, so I'm not able to physically move around, but we can organize our own prayer warriors online that will be backing up and will be getting, you can feed us with the prayer requests, prayer needs, urgency, wherever you are. And we know that God is everywhere. And we know we serve an almighty God who is all powerful. And we have tasted of his goodness. We will be backing you up in prayer so that even though we're not there physically, we can send finances and everything. But the prayer backup is so key in this. I haven't been able to sleep since the 20th. Almost every night I'm downstairs here, just wailing before the Lord, because there are many women trying to call their children. Chidi, Nkechi, where are you? They can't hear them. And the pain is just like an electric charge just going through my body every single day. So we want to back these people up in prayer, apart from all the financial things and apart from all the leg soldiers and everyone, whatever everyone is doing is fantastic. But I'm just suggesting we would like to be part of the prayer group. God bless you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Juwon, I think you may have to take it from here.
Okay. So I think Baba is unmuted already. So let's have Baba you on board.
Yeah, okay. Well, as this movement unfold, what kept coming to my mind was Frank Fanon's position in The Wretched of the Earth, that every generation will out of its relative obscurity discover its mission, fulfill it or betray it. It is quite clear that this generation has discovered its mission from the obscurity of the earlier period of, what can they do beyond watch Big Brother Naija? But there's always a context within which that discovery, that self-discovery of a generation takes place. And the context in our case entails a global situation of capitalism's crisis, and which is deepening, and a number of other issues, subjective factor nationally, but a very important one of this, and which we need to keep stressing, is the reinvigoration of the traditions of fighting, taking the streets, which the AAC, the Coalition for Revolution, with the Revolution Now movement launched on the 5th of August 2019 started. So it was within this context that, you see, because revolutionary movements start often spontaneously, but the extent to which they go forward depends on organization. So it was SARS. No one could have said it would be SARS or not. What this means is that even as we stand, as we take on the issue of SARS, some ideas have been bounced now, including the different judicial panels of inquiry. We should be physically there. We should engage this online and offline. But beyond that, any and every issue of concern to the working masses, we should take this up in ways and manners that show that we are part and parcel of the poor, the masses, the youth at each point in time. Going forward, I would suggest, amongst other things, ideas have been raised about political education. I think this is of utmost importance. And we also need to build bridges with the organizations of the people in anywhere and everywhere we are in our different neighborhoods committees, where you have community associations we could relate with, and the trade unions. Right? The trade unions, I'm not necessarily talking of national leadership of NLC, TUC. In our different areas, you have factories, you have offices, you have shop stewards, you have rank and file working class. We should build relations with those in the informal economy, market men and women, with those in retail. We need, because what's a party like the AAC, what a movement like the Revolution Now movement stands for,
It's alternative politics. It is mass politics. And one of the things with regards to this Endsars movement was this was the only body that moved in, the only revolutionary-led body that moved in with a national network across most of the states where you had action. But even at that, we could have done much more still. And we need not only mass political education, we need cadre development within the movement. For now, I would not want to speak much more than that, but to salute all those we lost as Nigerians on the field, and also all those members of the movement and all who stood and fought and continue fighting until victory. Revolution now.
Revolution now, Baba. Thank you so much. Juwon, can I just do a small housekeeping?
Yes.
Sorry, my electricity is gone. I'm in Nigeria. I got to keep reminding you that you see me in darkness. So please, one issue that keeps occurring to us in the movement, or even anybody that's watching and listening to us today, how active are you on social media? Because whether we like it or not, this battle is being fought on social media. You know, what some of you have mentioned about how we were trolled and attacked, it was a well-oiled attack against us by the state. They wanted to choose who they will be comfortable with, even when it comes to who to choose or who should go to the negotiation table with them. Of course, we made it very clear that we are not going to the negotiation table. We can't go and negotiate with a government that is tone deaf, a government that, in our view, does not exist, does not respect human rights. We had no business. But even while they were saying that we wanted to hijack, we are a political party, they were promoting political parties, promoting candidates. Some of the candidates that are promoting are political parties that were being promoted, into, they were trying to fool people, did not even participate in the protest. They did not participate, no, they sat at home. But they invested money in social media influencers to promote all kinds of narratives. At the point, and this is very real, and this is something we must understand, at the point they were promoting positions that will make it easy for the government to assassinate those of us in revolution now. They were pinpointing us, accusing us of things we never did, so that they soften us as a target in case the government decides to go home, which they eventually did. These are very important, but in a lot of ways, we are missing in those conversations. Please, if you are clear, if you have not joined Twitter, join Twitter. If you're on Twitter and you are pushing your hashtag for Endsars or any governance, don't forget to put revolution. Don't be afraid and don't be ashamed to state your position. Don't be ashamed to wear your clothes. You know, because all kinds of people are wearing their clothes. Some people wear gather to protest, some people wear their underwear on their head. We don't question it. Why should anybody question putting on our own regalia? Well, that is what I want to say, but the social media presence needs to be strengthened for us, because otherwise we will not be able to control some of the narratives that are out there about even our own participation. If we didn't have some kind of media presence, they were going to deny that we didn't participate in this protest. They would have well just done it. But look at where we are today in terms of even organizing. We were the first to organize in this country an online protest on Zoom that had over 500 people. Today, on this program, we've had up to 320 people participate at some point, and over 2,000 to 3,000 people watching online, on Facebook in particular. So please don't be ashamed, don't be afraid to keep the conversation going. So Juwon, let me hand over to you at this point. And don't forget that we need to start wrapping up, because we're supposed to do 2 hours. It's running to 2 hours and
yes.
Almost 2 hours. It's almost past 2 hours now. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. And let me hand you over.
So I think I'll be proposing that we round up. I think I'm proposing that we round up in the next 10 minutes. That's by 6:30.
Let me propose.
So that's going to be my proposition.
Let me propose that you take Oludare. He's in Texas, above Jordan. I saw his Oludare Ogunlana.
Oludare Ogunlana. Okay.
Above.
Okay. Oludaro Gulano, you are unmuted.
Hey, thank you very much. Congratulations to young people. Like the young lady said the other time, so it's a challenge of your own generation, and you have to drive the struggle like we did. I think at age 24, 25, all of us, Sowore and Co. So we're leading student movement. Unfortunately, student movement did not lead this kind of struggle. But let me assure you of one thing, that you are not alone. We are giving voice to you wherever we are. We are able to talk to the big government in the world also to understand what is going on. And for those who are responsible in our own way also, we make sure that they are punished for that. Even when they leave government, they are going to punish for that. And let me also encourage you. They will call you looters. They will call you different kind of things. Presently, there's a riot going on in Pennsylvania. People are looting. Anytime there are good things, when there's a breakdown of law and order as a result of irresponsible leadership, which of course we have in Nigeria today, then you expect something of that nature to happen. During the June 12 initiative, you have seen people soldiers firing shot and just decapitated somebody, remove his head. We've seen so many things. But the reality is that truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's going to be ridiculed. Oh, revolution will never come. It's going to come. Go and Google their names. Tinubu, Buhari, all of them. At one point, they said they've anticipated that what is happening now is going to happen in this country. Now they ridicule it. Now it's going to be violently resisted. But the reality is that it's going to happen at the end of the day. So I wish you guys all the best. Aluta continua, Victoria Asada. We're with you.
Yes. So thanks a lot. So let me, Saeed Hosseini, you've been raising your hand for a while. So let's unmute, please, in a minute. Okay, I think Saeed Hosseini is not here. Okay, there is Donaldolu. Donaldolu, you are unmuted. Okay. Please fire on.
Thank you so much. I'll just come up on my video because I want to make a show right
in 1
now.
minute, please. 1 minute.
Okay, very quick one. I'm still in the office. I have to wait in the office just to be on this meeting. Now, it's very clear that the youth consciousness is out there. But I'd like to differ a bit because I've heard 1 or 2 things that have been said here. You know, I specifically think that in 2023, I don't want to see anybody above 50 years old in any position in all of the 774 local governments. But how this can be achieved, I just say this one thing. It has to be strategy. And this strategy doesn't have to embrace just being doggedness. It has to be us working as wise as a serpent. We have to be strategic, and it's very, very key. I'm sure in other subsequent meetings, I'll be able to explain more further what I mean by this. I'll just leave this out for now. Revolution. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let me recognize Tayo Hackins. Tayo Hackins, you're muted. Tayo Hackins.
Okay.
Tayo Hackins.
I'm unmuted. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, loud and clear. Loud and clear, please go on. Okay, I think he's offline. I think Tayo Hackins is offline. So, okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. So what I was saying is that I think what we have to do next, I've heard a lot of speakers spoken, and I think they would have spoken whatever I would suggest as well. But in the end, I'll just say this. We need to be active on the social media. Guys, we need to be active on the social media. Twitter, Facebook, anything. We need to be active on the social media. I've spoken to Comrade President many times. We need to be active on social media. There's no way to go about it. We are in 2020. We are in 2020, where whatever happens in Philadelphia right now is going to be heard in Australia. Whatever happens in New York, where I am right now, is going to be happening, is going to be listened, is going to be heard in Soweto in South Africa. Number 1. Number 2, finally, we need constant meetings all the time. We need to be talking all the time. We need to organize all the time. And also, we need to liaise with other revolutionaries or seemingly revolutionaries. So we have a lot at hand. We have just started. The journey has just started. For those of us who have been in the student movement for many, many, many years, and we are now even abroad in the diaspora, and we know what is going on, we know that the journey has just started. Please, it is not hallelujah yet. It is not alhamdulillah yet. It is not Allah want to share yet. We are getting there. It is a constant move. Thank you so much, House. And my revolutionary regards to all the comrades and to our comrade president.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So before I recognize Kingsley Robin, I want to add that if you intend to volunteer in any capacity, especially to work within our social media space, you can just go on our website, Revolution Now NG. Then you see a spot where you're going to click to volunteer in any capacity. So if you're interested in volunteering for the social media, just go on our website, click, it will refer you directly to our WhatsApp group for the social media team. And same thing for every other team you intend to join and function. So please always make it an habit to constantly visit the website for updates and a number of other things. So Kingsley Robin, I'll be unmuting you now, and so you can fire up in 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
Good evening, all comrades. Good evening, all members, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kingsley Robin. I reside in Lagos precisely, and the lower part of Lagos, basically. All right. Most of the things I would want to comment have actually been mentioned, and which is what part of what the last speaker had said in terms of constant meeting. Because one thing I find out as a person is that we are Africans, we are actually quick to forget things. Okay? Now everybody is agitating for revolution, we are agitating for a better Nigeria. Now, 2 years fast forward to this time, everything down, go back to the cocoon. And then at 2023, this guy will still come out again with their frivolous activities in terms of how they can extort from the world, from the citizens, and then find their way back into power. So constant meeting, constant sensitization, as others have actually said, should be a paramount case. And then a strategy should be put in place such that every one of us, every youth in this country, young and old, because from my own interaction with several levels of persons, they are all tired, both young and old. And then I think it is time for us to constantly put them on the limelight so that come 2023, we are going to get what we actually aim for. Thank you very much, and God bless each and every one of us.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Robin. Before I recognize one more person, I want to emphasize again that in line with the direction of this discussion, we all know that the government killed several protesters everywhere, not just Lekki, across nooks and corners in Lagos, every protest ground across the country. So in case if you know anybody or have any proof of these killings in picture, in videos, and documents, please send it to our email, contact@revolutionnow.ng. contact@revolutionnow.ng. Send them to us. We're doing documentation of all harassment, rights violations, killings during the Endsars protests. And even if you have some before and after, please feel free, because I must tell you there are a number of stories where policemen are generally abducting notable faces, and it is, I can tell you for free, it's happening in Lagos particularly, and I'm sure it could be happening elsewhere. So please, if you have any evidence in pictures and in videos, send them to our mail, contact@revolutionnow.ng, or you can just contact us via the website revolutionnow.ng. So I will be recognizing just one more person. It's 6:30 already, so I would take a response, an observation. Oh, sorry, I'll take someone from Abuja. So where is he now? Moses Andrew. Again, Moses Andrew from Abuja.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for giving me this great opportunity. Yeah, many of the points I wanted to raise have been discussed, so I will just go straight to the one that have not been that emphasis has not been laid on, which is educating the non-English speaking people that most of the time these politicians normally use against us. Like some of those tongues, they're not social media, they don't even know what is going on. We've seen them with this Nokia touchlight phone. You know, some of them don't even understand English. They don't have access to internet. So I think it is high time for us to strategize of how we can educate them in knowledge of why we are fighting in the three major languages of Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and other languages. Please, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Before you run, please, before you run, kindly let me intervene on behalf of a 17-year-old boy who has been part of this and participated in protest. You saw a lot of these young guys, and we must let them speak what is happening in their own circles. And his name is Awomoyi. I have tried to unmute you, William. Can you please take it away? Take 1 minute so that we can wrap up.
Hello, thank you for this. Firstly, I just hello. Thank you for this. My name is William Awomoyi. I live in London, England. Firstly, I just want to say that I'm proud of everybody here for coming together and collectively fighting against oppression. In my assessment, I have a two-part plan that I think we need to take. So the short term is obviously the government, the federal government. How can we react in the short term to what they're doing? But the long-term issue that I find with Nigeria from an outside perspective is obviously the godfather issue. So, you know, you have numerous godfathers and cabals in Nigeria which have power, and probably the power exceeds the government's power. And we need to work on how we can reclaim that power and reclaim that economic capital that certain godfathers have, people like Tinubu, etc., that shouldn't really be having as much power as they do. One way we can keep doing this and raise the consciousness of people in Nigeria is keep antagonizing them on social media. I think this has been mentioned before, but keep using social media in 2020. Just keep antagonizing, and it will keep gaining traction everywhere. Like me personally, I've seen a lot of tweets because I'm connected to Nigerian Twitter right now, so I've seen a lot of tweets. So just keep antagonizing. And also another thing is that we tend to joke a lot on social media too much. What I've seen in Nigerian Twitter is that there's a lot of jokes about Jibril, things like that. That's not really important because we know Buhari's still alive. I think we just need to focus on the matter at hand. And if we have such a big turnout like this, there's about 300 people here today. We should use all of those people on social media to get hashtags going and to not make jokes, but be serious about the matter. A couple more things. I'm against Western interventions. I've seen like sanctions being placed. I'm not really for that, because if we know about the geopolitical and historical relationship, we know that Western intervention has never ever benefited Africans or Nigeria. So I'm against that. I think we need attention, but not intervention. And the way to, my opinion, is the way to rebuild Nigeria is through the local authorities and not really the federal authority. So it's all about, in the long term, we need to be looking at local authorities, local governments. How can we fix the local issue? Because we have to work on the masses and not just wait for some messiah leader that's going to come out of nowhere and start making change. It's all about the small battles that we can win in the local areas. One more thing, my last thing that I wanted to say is that we need a comprehensive strategy that's put into words, a plan. Because the issue is that normally what happens with Africans all over the world is that if somebody dies, then they take all their knowledge with them to the grave. What we need is a plan so that we can, so that if somebody dies, if somebody gets killed, you know, the plan stays the same. All we have to do is read from it and apply it. So we just need something that we can write down into words, because I'm tired of having all these leaders that just get killed or assassinated because they never wrote down what they were planning to do, and other people couldn't carry that out. And yeah, so that's really all I have to say. But I'm just saying this is a hugely momentous moment for Nigerians all across the world, and not just Nigerians, but Africans as well. And so I don't think we should underestimate what's going on, because history is being made right now, revolution now.
Thank you so much, man. I cannot let you go without saying, how do we get more of your types, man? All over the place, man. Yeah, you should get, you have spoken brilliantly, and I'm moved and inspired by what you had to say. I'm glad that we got you to speak before this is wrapped up. Juwon, also let me add, because while we are at this, one of the things we wanted to achieve tonight was to say what's next, right? And I hope you speak to that based on the collation of all the views we have. It's looking to me like people want something deeper, something well prepared before we move out again. So we might need to propose another date for a new meeting so that we can decide. For me, I think we should start planning when we go back on the street, because the only thing these people respect is the power of the streets. You know, you can imagine just within 2 weeks, as Mr. Falano has said, things that they have done. Suddenly, $75 million is available for youth. You know, now they want youth to be represented in panels. Suddenly, you know, but we know that all of this is a charade. They just want to do it so that this will go away because they calculate that Nigerians are forgetful. We have short memory, and our capacity to hold on to this kind of level of resistance can be very, very minimal. But they got us wrong this time around, and we need to keep this going. I should inform you guys that while this was going on, they revived my case. Suddenly they said they want to try me, and I went to court, and they said they should revoke my bail. They didn't succeed in doing that, but it was part of the plan to see if they can intimidate us into silence. That is not going to happen again, and nobody should be afraid. And I want to, before I leave this to Juwon to wrap up, I want us to, start thinking about when we mobilize and go back on the street. What we need to do, as Raf said at the beginning, is that we should have rallies that are located in specific places across the country, massive rallies, and we should keep having these rallies until the country is liberated. So thank you guys so much for coming. We started with about 300 and almost 320 people.
320.
Yes. Up to now, we're about 197. I guess people are just dropping off based on internet availability, electricity. Some people have to go back home after work. Thank you all for coming. And please, let's get back together on social media. My social media assets are well known to you, but if you don't know it, Sowore. Yele Sowore is my Twitter. Yele Show is Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook as Osowore. That's facebook.com/Osowore. Let's follow each other, And those people, like our brother said, Awuni said, let's stop joking about things. These days, I get irritated when people come on my page and say, follow me back, I follow you. This is not a follow matter. This is a serious matter, So please, but this happened because the original people who are supposed to be doing the commentary and pushing narratives are not on Twitter. So you leave it for people who are just there for the sake of fun. Thank you, guys. I saluta continua, Victoria Asata, revolution now.
Victoria Asata.
So
now.
Yes. What we normally do is we allow our participants to say something at the end. So I've unmuted everybody, whomever is left, but you can wrap up and let them sing a Luther song.
Oh, wow, my gosh.
Hi, can I say something?
Revolution.
Solidarity forever.
I want to say something though.
Something.
all need to come together as one group, though.
Greeting you guys. This is very special all the way from
Evolution.
Back, we're taking over.
We need to come together as one group. Nigeria resistance revolution.
Do we have like a Telegram group? Telegram group where people can know what's going on.
Nigeria revolution.
Mr. Sowore, please check your inbox. Inbox. I'm gonna ask a question.
Movement, revolution.